and taking a lot of ownership in their preparation, their attention to details, studying the opponents each and every week. Jadar has been, to me, the player of the year. He's that guy this year that has just taken us to another level. I mean, I can't stress that enough. I'm really proud of Jadar. He has been as consistent a player as we've had on our football team, and we were very hopeful that he would take that next step, and boy has he. He starts on special teams. I mean, he's become a great leader, and we needed that on that back end. He's a vocal guy, and he really wasn't much that early on in his career, but he's become a take charge kind of a guy on the back end. He and Van have a great chemistry. Obviously, Cordray has, it's interesting. Last year, Cordray had a bunch of interceptions. This year, he hadn't had as many, but hadn't had as many opportunities. And then I think that just the confidence that we have gotten in those other players, the Marcus Edmond, Ryan Carter, Mark Fields, those guys, we've combined to really have a very productive group on the back end. It's a lot of competition back there, and really proud of them. They've done a great job. The biggest thing we talked about coming into the season was the big plays. As I said, we were dysfunctional last year. Dysfunctionally good. I mean, we were really good. You're top 10 defense, but we kept giving up a lot of big plays. And when you get big leads on people, next thing you know, you're kicking an onside kick, because we were giving up these chunks. And we have really, through 7 games, we've done a great job. And 7 games don't make a season. We got a long way to go. But I love what they've done to this point. Very consistent.
With the huge game-saving plays at the end there that Marcus Edmond made, have you noticed the last few weeks that maybe he's had an extra pep in his step and maybe kind of elevated his play?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, success breeds confidence, and he's just he definitely has a different swagger to him. There's no doubt about it. He put the work in, first of all. He worked his tail off this spring, the off season, the spring, the summer. I mean, really grinded, and then he got hurt. And so I think he just had a lot of fuel to come back. But it's one thing to do that. It's another thing to go and have some success. And that's oftentimes all a player needs is just a little bit of success. And then all of a sudden that confidence, emerges and the game slows down. You play a little faster, and that's been the case for Marcus. I mean, he has been a big-time guy for us, come through for us in a big way this year.
Speaking of guys stepping up, are there any backups or bench players stuff that are performing really well, taking their game to another level that we need to know about that we may not know about as the media?
I mean, I think there's a bunch of those guys. I mean, shoot, you look at our offensive line. We've played a lot of guys in that offensive line through 7 games. You got a young guy like Tremaine Ankrum. I mean, he is, and Pollard. They've gotten some good experience this year as true freshmen. Last year, that was a huge story for us. But we got Mitch Hyatt. I thought Frew Morgan came back and played his best game last week. Did a great job for us. But Hearn is a young sophomore player. He's had a really solid year for us too. But it's a guy like Tremaine Ankrum and Pollard. I think 2 guys like that. Falcinelli has had to play some center. He's played some guard. He's a sophomore player for us that people don't really talk about, but he's a really good football player. I think Mylan Richard, even though he hasn't had a lot of touches, I think he has really come on and a guy that shows a lot of promise for us moving forward. Leggett's kind of been the featured guy at that position, but I think that we've got a good future there at tight end. I really do with the guys that we have in that sophomore group. There's certain things that I see that a lot of people don't see, and then I think the development of our quarterbacks. Again, I think even though Kelly hasn't had a lot of opportunity, I think he's continued to improve, and it's a good situation. And the same thing on the defensive side. A guy like Trey Lamar, this kid and Skowski. Here's a couple of young guys that are going to be great. Trayvon, really good players that are kind of coming on. Kayvon. I mean, these are really talented guys that give us a bright future. several other guys. I mean, Huggins is a guy that's emerging. He's going to end up being a great player for us. So we got a bunch of guys that I think have made good contributions. Register, Yergin, that maybe don't get talked about as much, but have been good players for us.
Coach, you talked about how in Death Valley the crowd can influence a game, doesn't determine it. How do you not let a crowd like the one in Tallahassee influence the outcome at all with your squad?
Just stay focused on, first of all, you got to have a great week of preparation. We try to prepare our guys. We'll create crowd noise and all that type of stuff to make them have to really focus and practice the way they need to. But, that's the main thing. And then you just stay dialed in on what you're doing. You don't get distracted by all that stuff. If you're really locked in to what you're doing and you've had a great week of preparation, that shouldn't be a factor for you. I mean, you have to stay locked in, and you got to, keep your poise. And if you do have a mistake, just go to the next play. Don't let one mistake lead to three. And, try to do the best you can to block that type of stuff out. But the other thing is you draw on your experience. It's not like this is our first road trip. We've played at a lot of places. And, defensively, it's always easier on the road. It's actually a little harder to communicate for our defense at home because it's so loud. But on the road, it's a little bit easier for our defense. It's harder on the offense, obviously. But we try to prepare them in practice, and then again the experience. We've played, at Auburn this year, and maybe one of the best games we've had, to be honest with you, offensively, and probably one of the clutchest games we've had. I know that the score didn't maybe please some people, but we had 8 drop balls in that game and 3 drop touchdowns in that game. But we didn't finish on some plays, but the overall poise. I don't think we had one offsides in that game, in an opening game, and then that last drive, that 3-minute and 20-something, 3:23 or whatever it was, that last drive was just incredible. On the road, back against the wall, Jordan Hare, and the drive that we put together was just awesome to take the air out of the ball, but. So they've got good experience to draw on, but it's all about this week. I mean, you gotta play well this week. That's what I always tell our guys. We're really not trying to win all of our games. We're just trying to win the one we're playing. That's really all we're trying to do. And the way you do that is try to win the play you're playing. All right. Don't worry about the last play. Don't worry about the next play. Let's just win this play, and just kind of create that mentality, and because that's how you get locked in. That's the type of focus that you got to have. To execute, cleanly.
This is your 4th night road game. How much does that help from a just game routine standpoint?
Same thing, good experience. They've been there, done that. It seems like every time we go on the road, it's like a 9 o'clock, kick. Get home at 6 in the morning, but that's just the way it is. So we look forward to those opportunities. It's national TV. You're playing a great team at their place, a big-time ranked opponent. You look forward to those opportunities.
You ever been part of that? 4 straight road night games?
Probably. I mean, I'm sure 13 years at Alabama, I probably experienced that somewhere along the way, but I'd have to do some Tim Bray Google research or something to know, but I'm sure I have.
Does it feel different having a 2-game lead over Florida State as opposed to this game, decide the winner?
No, man, this is Clemson, Florida State. It don't matter what the records are. There's plenty of juice in this one. This is I don't know. What are they ranked? Top 12. Yeah, okay, so this is a team that a lot of people picked to win the national championship. That's good enough to win the national championship. This is a team that lost on a 54-yard field goal. And then, obviously had one get away from them at Louisville against a great football team. So these guys are as good as you're going. There's always 10 or 12 teams out there that are good enough, and this bunch is as good as anybody, in my opinion. And so you can throw the records out the book. To go on the road and to have to beat a top 15 team, it don't matter what the standings are. There's a lot of pride involved in this game. Both teams understand what Clemson, Florida State means, and the ramifications of this game. For us, again, we want to win them all. We want to, but as I said earlier, you can't win 12, you win 8. So we're just trying to win the game we're playing, and each and every week do the best we can. And whatever result we get, move on to the next one. And it's the same thing for Florida State. It's all about this week. They can't worry about what happened earlier in the year. I promise you, they ain't going to be thinking about that. They're going to be focused on trying to beat Clemson and continue. They've got a lot at stake. They've got a lot of opportunity out there for postseason. So, it really doesn't have anything to do with it.
Did you see anything different from your team after that NC State game when we went back to practice? Was there a greater sense of urgency or maybe a sense of relief, or did anything change in the approach?
No, well, see, yeah. Well, no, see, that insinuates that there wasn't a sense of urgency for that game. And there couldn't be further from the truth. Watch the tape. Man, you talk about tremendous effort. Now it doesn't mean the other team doesn't make good plays, and everybody's got good players, but you can't have a better sense of urgency. Because we had 4 turnovers and 3 opportunities inside the 5-yard line, does that mean Ben Boulware didn't play with a sense of urgency? No. Does that mean Deshaun had one of his best games? This kid completed 75% of his passes on 52 attempts. I don't know how you could play better. Had one bad decision on the pick 6, but we guys played with a great sense of urgency, a great will to win. We just had some mistakes. We made some bad plays, and they made a few good ones on them. They scored 1 touchdown. It's one thing if you're out there and you just, you're all a bunch of 3-and-outs and you're just sloshing around and you're not finishing blocks and, you're getting stoned at the point of attack and all that stuff. But we had 1 3-and-out, 91 plays, 500 yards of offense, and 4 turnovers. It's just frustrating because we again, 4 times in the red zone that we got 0 points. It allowed the game to stay close. And 3 inside the 5. I don't know that I've ever been a part of that, where you don't at least get a field goal. And so there was some frustration in that we, but the effort was tremendous. Guys laid it on the line. It was a great sense of urgency to win the game. I think, if anything, maybe it just kind of, that locker room was awesome, because these guys appreciate winning. They appreciate winning. And I love that about this team. They appreciate it. And so do I. Again, we try to correct the mistakes. We had a great week of practice last week, and that, it's not a sense of urgency. It's just the opposite. Mike Williams wasn't being casual and nonchalant. He's fighting and scratching and clawing for 1 more yard, and we have a turnover. Wayne Gallman is ripping, running violently, and it's a big hit, and he fumbles the ball. Tyshawn trying to go in, he's just fighting. The guy gets the ball out. Again, it wasn't from a lack of sense of urgency. So that's what that question insinuates. These guys we probably played one of our best games against NC State in a lot of areas.
What kind of edge does the jumbo formation give you, and how long did it take you to figure out that Dexter and Christian were the perfect guys for that?
Just this summer, watching them in summer camp. I'd already kind of thought about some things with Christian, but then when I watched Big Dex, and I just felt like that it'd be something that we could, have an edge on, and it's just sheer strength. It's just hard. Even if you fit it up, you got a lot of mass coming at you there. So we just wanted to kind of create a little package, and it's come through for us in a couple big situations. But they're capable of handling it mentally and physically. They're just obviously gifted. These are, you got one that's 342 and the other one that's about 315 or so. So just inertia. That's really it.
Coach, on the decision to call the timeout, ice the kicker against NC State, you see that called a lot in college, high school, pro football. In your career, I'm pretty sure you've seen a lot. What was your reaction to the result of that call?
He missed it. We got it. We still got it. We're still alive. We still got a chance to win it. The game ain't over. All right, let's go win it in overtime. I mean, just trying to, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I was trying to hang on to one because I knew it was going to be a field goal. I knew there was, regardless of when they, like I said last week, I thought that they would use their timeouts and try to score. That surprised me a little bit, but I was trying to hang on to one. And just for that purpose, because I knew a kick was coming, and just trying anything that you can, but worked out for us. I'm not sure we wouldn't have blocked it, to be honest with you, had it been on target. And that that's the other thing. Don't think that the game doesn't impact those things. We blocked one, we almost got another one. They missed one. Pressure. I mean, and then I tell you, we had good push on that one, and Jadar was, I'm not sure he wouldn't have blocked it. Just tremendous effort by our guys, and he missed it. It's just, that's part of it. Just like we got inside the 5 3 times and missed it too. Missed opportunities to score. It's all part of the game, and that play went our way and gave us a chance to keep playing. And it's what we say: 60 minutes or as long as it takes to finish. And we were able to finish the game.
Coach, this road schedule that you guys have had, how much can those matchups compare to Doak Campbell at a night venue, big crowd like that, or is that matchup unique with you guys from that experience?
Again, I think you draw on all your experience. Going to Jordan-Hare is a tremendous challenge. Going down to Atlanta this year, a place we hadn't won in, since I was in middle school, I guess, and we were able to do that. So I think you draw on all those experiences. I mean, it's a great venue. They do a great job. They'll show up, man. It'll be rocking. 8:22 kickoff in Tallahassee, Clemson, Florida State. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. It'll be awesome. Our guys look forward to that. I mean, that's, as a competitor, I mean, that's what you want, man. I watch some of these tapes and I see nobody in the stands. And I remind our guys all the time, man, what a blessing it is to be at a place like Clemson, where people show up. I mean, they come. It don't matter who we play. They show up, and it's a privilege to, work and play at a place like that. So it'll be a great venue, and we'll look forward to competing. And every game, I know it seems like 2010 we went down there and a 55-yard field goal to beat us with 2 seconds, and that was kind of the story of that year. 2012, we had a chance to win the game. They were probably a little bit better than us, but we had our opportunities to win the game and couldn't finish it in the fourth quarter. 2014, we played probably as good as you could play. In fact, I think we hit about every indicator for victory in that game, just about every one. And when you read Tim's notes and it says win 98% of the time, win 99% of the time, and you always wonder, what is that 2%? Well, we found it that night in Tallahassee in 14. So, you gotta even those things out, right? So I think we've played well in spurts down there over the last few years. We just hadn't been able to finish. And if you're going to win at somebody else's place, especially against a highly ranked and highly talented football team, you got to finish. You got to take advantage of the opportunities when they present themselves.
Everybody got anything else? Thank you very much.
All right, guys.